Hello, little rats. Welcome back to another episode of Chatty Rats. I am Miss Sheen, back at it again with Miss.
Natalia Graciela Vargas Soria. We are back, and I have to report that me and Sheen are witches, or the government is a big subscriber of Chatty Rats because not Sheen getting a jury summons failed to show up. They were like, we caught you.
The minute the episode was live, my mom texted me the freaking notification.
And I was like, Sheen, what if you went to jail for not showing up to jury summons? We're going to have to do this podcast from jail.
I feel
Like,
like
Chatty
that's our
Rats.
ticket into getting big, guys. Like, oh my God, have you heard of this podcast where one of the girls is in jail and they're recording?
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do for your art, you know?
Exactly. I feel like
I mean, think about the
I would kill
fashion.
it.
You would have to
I
be
would
like,
kill it at jail, you know?
you're
Imagine.
vlogging at jail.
I mean, they
Uh,
have phones nowadays. Like a lot of them are on TikTok.
I
Yeah.
know. So
Contraband.
exactly. Oh my god. So that would be hilarious. So Sheen's career is gonna reach new heights. I can't wait for us. But I thought that was really, really funny.
Thank
I was
you.
dying. Yeah, I went to my first jury thing
Oh
and pretty
yeah. Did
boring.
you get dismissed?
Eventually, yes, but they didn't dismiss me until like 3 p.m.
Oh, okay.
Which
So the whole
I
day
was
you were
like,
there.
I was there, like, getting selected or, like, they ask you questions and stuff like that. I didn't like this part of being a citizen.
I know. I feel like it looks more fun than it actually is once you're there.
I actually wanted to be selected because I was like, I'll see what's up," how the court system works, but I didn't
Yeah.
get chosen in the end.
What questions did they
Mm,
ask?
they never
Big,
asked me anything. They basically, like,
substantial.
questioned the jury, which is, like, 40 of us, a bunch of different questions as it comes to, like, you being impartial.
Mhm.
And all the lawyers involved in that case asked questions. And basically, as people get dropped from the main jury, like, on the box, people
Mhm.
from the gallery, which is where I was at, then they're like, "Okay, miss whoever, come up to the box." So, like, they just keep
Mm.
rotating you until they have, like, their finals 14 or whatever people. I also realized if you think you can pretend that you're impartial, you can't. Like, a lot
Really?
of people were oh, you can't. So many gotcha moments. Like, so anybody that wrote why they were impartial, they were called out in front of the whole courtroom. I was like, "Oh."
Damn.
I was like, "Oh, you thought you were gonna get dismissed." No, you're getting called out.
Oh, yeah, because they know that people wanna get dismissed, so they just, like they know how to, like, work around it,
Yes,
I feel like.
and that's the only part that was interesting that I was like, "Oh shit, these lawyers are lawyering, like, they don't let you BS, by any means." So I thought that was crazy. So I did like that part actually, but I was disappointed that, I love performing. I never got to leave the gallery and be questioned. I
Damn.
had my answers ready, Sheen. I was like, "I'm about to pop off. Is this an open mic?" I was like, "This is an open mic. Like, I am ready to perform in front of the judge." So, I was ready. So, I was pretty disappointed I was not selected and quite honestly offended.
Next time, Natalia, next time.
Next time, government, if you're listening, I was down. I was ready.
They're gonna hit you back up soon. Watch
I know
me
for
watch
real.
me get selected, me who doesn't
Uh,
like to go.
they're like, "Say less." Okay, so I shoot, you want me to start or do you wanna start? How we feeling
Go
today?
ahead, start. Go ahead, girl. You take it. You take the mic. You didn't get it with a jury, you're gonna get it with me.
Thank you so much for saying me. Say less. So as you guys know, I am on a Bumble BFF journey. First 2 dates with this one girl went well, I like her, but this weekend I had a different date with somebody else.
Hey.
I'm keeping my
She's
options
dating around.
open. I'm dating
Yeah,
around,
she's a roster.
I'm a roster. And this girl, she's from Mexico City. So that was like something
Hey.
that got me very excited because I need a Latina friend. I love a brown friend. It
Mhm.
just hit different when it's like a person of
It
color.
hits
I
different.
love it because we just already have so much in common just from like the immigrant
Mhm.
experience alone. So I was like really excited to see like how that whole thing would play out. And I loved it. I did love that we can switch to Spanish, like, for like
Yeah, just
random
like
little
random words.
banter
Yeah,
or like a random
exactly.
phrase. And I was like, this is truly so special that like you can do
Yeah.
that with someone because it creates like a whole level of humor that you don't have access to
Mhm.
with anybody else. So I thought
So
that was
true.
special. And she must be a Chatty Rat subscriber because the things that we say about friendship, like she was just telling me about how she's like, I love activities. I think dinner gets repetitive. I was like, oh, so she's a listener. um, she was telling me how she loves a casual hangout, and I was like, "Oh my god." And something that I really, really loved, she was telling me how because I asked her about her hobbies, like, what does she love doing? And she was telling me how every year she's like, "I get bored, so I feel like a good way to spice up my life is by picking up a new hobby, like challenging myself
Ugh,
and getting out of my comfort zone." I was like,
queen.
"Queen." I was like, "I am in love." Oh, and I guess I haven't said this, but we went thrifting because on her profile, it said that she loved, like,
Oh,
art.
that's so fun.
Yeah, so she loves museums, thrifting, and I was like, "Maybe say less, let's go thrifting." Some people were like, "Maybe don't do that," like, that can be such a weird thing because 'cause you're, like, looking at clothes and not really, like, talking, but we were
Yeah.
able to do both, and I feel like if you're someone that likes to shop, that is, like, such a fun activity, so we were both, like, having fun even in, like, moments of silence, right?
Yeah, because 'cause you're also, like, looking and you're, like, walking around. It's, like, a nice energy and, like, able to, like, show things to each other. I feel like
Yes.
I don't know. It's fun.
I agree. But yeah, she was like super cool. Like I thought we really vibed and I can't wait to see her again. I was like, guys, should I delete the app? Like, am I done looking? Like
She found
is it
one.
is it too early?
But honestly, anytime I've had really good friend connections, it's kinda like dating, like, you just know. You always just know.
No, that's the spooky part. Like I had that like instant connection feeling that I was like,
Yes.
oh,
Do you believe in past life connections?
100%.
Okay, yeah. It kinda, like, gives me the chills and makes me feel all cuddly, but I always think when you instantly connect with someone and you instantly feel comfortable and, like, you feel like you've known each other for a really long time, I'm like, "That's a past life connection." Like, we knew each other. We're and it's, like, such a romantic like, I don't mean romantic in the not romantic, maybe just I think it's just beautiful because it's like, damn, our souls knew each other and like we found each other again in this life, you know?
Yeah,
And I just think
I
of
love
that and I'm
that.
just like, that's so like I want to say romantic, but it's do you get what I mean? It's like
It
not
is
romantic,
romantic.
but not in the sexual sense and just like a romanticizing life and
Life.
connections way. Yeah. I don't know how to yeah.
No, I agree. When souls connect, souls connect. And that's
Yeah.
like, when you know, baby, when you know.
You know,
And
it's so
come
true.
to think of it, none of my friendships have been like a slow burn or like it's always been like,
Yeah.
I fuck with you. I like you from day one. Like
Yeah. That's so true.
so I'm excited. So I highly recommend that everybody tries it. If you feel like your connections just aren't there, I feel like if you give it a go, it's honestly just like dating, which is hilarious. But it like really gave me hope because the only
Mhm.
thing that I'm really missing in my life right now, like I'm the happiest person in the world, but it is those like strong sisterhood connections where I live.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to keep hanging out.
Eh, you know what I realized yesterday? I was like, one of the qualities that I think I'm looking for in like a best friend or a really good friend is the ability to feel really comfortable asking the wildest, randomest hypothetical questions. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like oh, because we yesterday I was hanging out with one of my friends from UCLA and like in the car, we were just like talking about random stuff. And I was like, if I don't ask you random hypothetical questions, like we're not besties. Like if I'm not asking you how many animals do you think kill this many humans a year? Or like if you could only use two ingredients for the rest of your life, what would it be? If I'm not able to do that, we're not besties. It just hit me. Have you ever thought of that quality?
I
Or do you
don't
find yourself
know.
doing that? Like asking random ass questions?
Shane, that is
I'm
your
sure you're doing
brand. especially you
That's
and
my
Michelle.
brand.
I feel like you and Michelle be asking the randomest shit to each other. I'm like, "Wait, this is wild." Like, you guys are like, "If I was a worm, would you still fuck with me?" Which I was gonna ask you that question. Okay, I have to ask you the question now. Speaking of weird questions. But yes, I agree. I feel like with your best friends, you can be completely unhinged and like you're not worried about like giving them a scandalous answer. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I do feel that way with my connections. But that brings me to the question part. I wanted to ask you because I saw this video on TikTok. I got deep.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
I got deep in a conspiracy theory podcast reel
Hypothetical
section.
situation. Yeah, 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 I saw.
I was in there for an hour, just like
Scrolling.
enhancing my brain. It felt like I was like, "Oh my god." Okay, anyways, so let's just say we live in an apocalyptic Earth. So they're shipping us out of Earth and they're gonna put us in these cryo chambers. And let's say that you have your husband and they freeze you guys. The new planet that they're shipping you to, it takes like 80 years or so to get there.
Mhm,
So they're freezing you so that when you wake up, you can start to repopulate this new world together.
mhm.
But as you take off, your cryo chamber breaks and you wake up. Do you, Sheen, wake up your husband? Or do you just get old and let him sleep and wake up all young? And if you have theoretical children, do you wake up your children as well? Like, what do
Okay,
you
the
do?
children? Fuck no. So
Okay,
the
you
thing
let him.
is, this equation depends on, like, the children, I think. Because if I have children and my husband there, I'm not gonna, like, leave my children without their father, right? So I'm not waking up my husband. But I guess let's take out the children out of the equation, and it's just me and my husband. Girl, that's so hard. Because it's like, of course, this kind-hearted, generous person, part of me wants to be like, "Oh, let him live. I love him, let him live." But at the same time, I'm gonna have to be alone for 80 years just staring at my husband through, like, Frozen. That sounds horrible.
So boring.
Yeah, of course. But 80 years of us, like, just also being solo together on a spaceship, I mean, could be fun. Okay, I think the selfless side of me wants to let him sleep, but the selfish side of me also doesn't want to be alone for 80 years.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to say goodbye to me too, so maybe waking him up isn't as selfish as I'm thinking.
So what would you pick?
I think my final answer is if our children are there, I'm not gonna wake him up. But if it's just me and him, I think I'd wake him up. Yeah.
Shane, when I tell you, I didn't even hesitate. I was like, I wake the fucker up immediately. I said, "Good morning." Because number 1, I don't wanna be alone, so I'm selfish. But number 2, my Delulu brain is like, he loves me. He would be so pissed if I didn't wake him up.
Exactly.
Like, he would be
Exactly.
livid. He would be like, "Natalia, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. Why would you let me live in this life without you?" I'd be like, "Oh, baby, I knew."
Exactly. Exactly. I do think for what you're saying, I think we do need to reverse the scenario to, like, if it was the other way around, would you want your husband to then wake you up, right? So
Yeah,
it's like we should do what we would want done to us.
yeah, and I think I would want
Yeah.
him to wake me up.
Yeah, exactly. Same. If the love of my life woke up and I, like, wake up 80 years later and he's dead because he didn't wake me up,
Yeah.
I would want to be woken up.
I was like, "Motherfucker, it took me years to find you. What?" I would be
Exactly.
pissed. I would be pissed. Um,
Exactly.
the way that you're thinking of it, that means that we're both romantics if you answer that way,
Oh,
because we
interesting.
both are under the assumption that we're so in love that, like,
Yeah.
life without you is not life at all.
Yeah, this is petty, but, like, no, you're not gonna wake up and then mourn me for a couple years and then get remarried. No. Mm-mm,
No,
mm-mm,
disrespectful.
mm-mm.
No.
Just me, baby. It's just me and you to the end.
Period.
I love that.
But yeah, now that
Everyone
I'm thinking about it more, I do like weirdo questions.
it's how you get to know someone, how you get to know, like, how someone thinks. Also, have you heard of the bird theory?
No.
Okay, so me and Michelle were talking about this. This is, like, very important recipe for relationships. Basically, imagine a scenario where you and your boyfriend are at, like, a cafe and then you're like, "Oh my god, look at that bird. Like, it's so cute, so pretty. And then how they respond determines like how fulfilling your relationship is, right? So if they're just like, okay, it's just a bird, like, and right? Versus being like, yeah, like, what do you think its story is? Do you think it's on its way home? Has it like had its food? Do you think it has like a little family? Like how they respond really determines
Who they are.
who they are, but also like what kind of relationship you can have. Cause life is that. Like, life is the little observations and like looking at the sky and like being able to do that with the person you're also witnessing life, which is
Aw.
like your partner. So, yeah, the bird theory. You got to look out for that when you're with someone. When you make a comment about something, do they entertain it and like, you know?
Yeah, no, I love that. That's very cute, but I think the same way, and early on in dating, I didn't know it was a theory, but I do that. I'll be
Hmm?
like, "Isn't that so cute?" And I'm like that video where I'm like, "Isn't it cute?" I'm like staring at him like or like I'll get more and more unhinged as we're getting to know each other more. Like I'll start with like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, the cloud kind of looks like a pie." And then there'll be another day where we're hiking and I'm like, "I'm looking for fairies. I wonder if there are any fairies to see." Like I'm like, "Do you like it? Do you have imagination?" Because I
Exactly.
like a super overly logical man like that has never been for me. So
Hmm. I'm with
like, I
you.
need a little imagination and a little, like, wanderlust as it comes to, like, how the world is. For example, when I see birds, I sometimes think that they're, like, ancestors. I'm like, "Oh, thank you
I
for
think
coming
that
by."
too. I think that
Yeah.
too.
So I can't
I'm like,
imagine someone being like, "No, that's a fucking bird." I'm like, "No,
yeah,
Brad, I can't."
I know. I'm like, no, that's my grandfather. Respect him.
Bow to Papa right now. So that's a perfect example, guys. These questions be lit. This is connection right here.
This is connection. Oh, it just like brings me so much fulfillment.
I know. It's so fun.
It is. I guess I'll do my little talk about my life. Talk
Tell
about
us,
my life.
Sheen. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Okay, I have two, I guess, things I want to talk about. So one, your girl, the best she's ever felt. Like, I feel so freaking good, and it's all thanks to Daddy Huberman. I've talked about this on my Instagram as well, but it took me 2 years to implement getting sunlight basically in the morning, as close to possible as you can get to waking up, going out and getting sunlight. Like, it's so important. No matter if it's cloudy or not, it like helps you wake up so much easier, helps you stay awake and energized throughout the day and help you sleep so freaking good. Better than
Yeah.
you taking any type of gummy or anything.
Mhm.
And I just feel like your girl's on drugs. Like, I'm just happy. She's living life. I think after my Hawaii trip, I just feel like a shift happened in my life where I don't know, things are just really, really good. Really, really, really good.
I love
But
that.
with that, there's still like ups and downs in my life. So don't take
Oh,
that as
yeah,
I'm
of
like my life
course.
is perfect. So I will say, recently I did feel like a little rejected by someone. Nothing crazy, but I still felt that way, right? And we've kind of talked about this before, but I was on my little walk in the mornings with the sunlight and I had my little epiphanies because I was like, a lot of times when things just don't work out with someone, friends will be like, oh, you deserve better. If he's stupid, he couldn't see what you had in you and blah, blah, blah. And
He's a dumb
yeah.
bitch. Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, honestly, though, sometimes people may see you for who you are and like all the values you have and everything. But one, they could just not be somewhere in life where they appreciate those values. Or I
Mhm.
was thinking of cars as an example where it's like, if you have an affinity for a certain brand, so like let's say you love Audi and then someone takes you to the Mercedes dealership and is trying to like convert you and they're like, but look at all these features. It's so much better than Audi. But you're just like, no, like I've always wanted an Audi. Like I'm going to get an Audi. It doesn't matter that this Mercedes has all these inside features and external features. And I just think dating, friendships, or whatever is like that too. It's like sometimes you could be the Mercedes and they just want the Audi.
Yeah.
And you can do nothing to like convince, like, you know what I mean? Not convince them, but it's just not a match at the end of the day. And this
I was
also
gonna
leads to
say
another epiphany. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
okay, because I was gonna say, Sheen, you're giving healed. You're giving growth, you're giving maturity.
Yes.
I was like, "What is this peace this woman is feeling? I want some of the drugs you've been taking, AKA sunlight, apparently,
Yeah,
because
sunlight, dude.
that's such a peaceful way of looking at dating. When you have that mindset, it removes that bitterness of "fuck dating. Dating
Yes.
sucks." So I love that.
Yes.
Excellent work,
Okay,
Sheen.
thank you. And then I'm gonna go into, like, another epiphany. Loopy, okay. This is the
Loop.
last epiphany because I was also thinking, and I talked about this on the Hawaii podcast, I think, but I was like, me now is like the best version of me. And I'm happy I am single at this very point and looking to meet my partner at this point because I am looking for such different things. And yesterday, me and my friend were talking about one example. I was like, I remember I used to think that someone who said they don't drink, I wouldn't like that. I wanted someone who drank. So it's just crazy because me now would be like, oh, that's fine. Like they don't drink, that's cool. Doesn't matter to me. But me then would have been like, no, I don't want someone who doesn't want to drink, which is insane. So I'm just like, being single is such a gift because I needed these 2 years. I needed them. It's the longest I've been single. And I had moments where I've been harsh on myself. Like, why haven't I found someone? But nah, today me is like, it was all for a reason. So these are my
Yeah.
epiphanies of the past couple weeks.
Oh, that makes me so happy because obviously you've come to being your authentic self. And
Exactly.
once you have that, it's like a feeling, like there's like a
Yes, it's a
security.
feeling.
You're like, damn, my intuition on point. Like I am
Mhm,
good. So
mhm.
when you walk through the dating world or as you meet people, now whether it works out or not, sometimes that's not in your control, right? Because I know that you
Yeah.
recently felt a little rejected. Um, and that was not because there was not the vibe. It was because it doesn't work because of logistics, the admin of it all. But
And
eh, yeah,
I
whatever.
don't know.
Because he's stupid. No, just kidding.
He wanted to, he wouldn't, it's all good. I'm just kidding.
Oh, dead. No, but I am that much more confident in like you because I know that when you
Thank
meet
you.
a person, your intuition is gonna be so right. Sometimes it's like an investment, right? You invested in yourself for the last 2 years. That doesn't mean that you have to be a perfect person to attract the perfect partner by any means, because
Exactly.
perfection doesn't exist.
Yeah,
But you've just unlocked a whole different level of dating experiences and also of men, I believe. Because when you
exactly. I
elevate
agree.
yourself, you enter like a whole new level. Like you've unlocked it
Yeah.
and now it's
Yeah.
available to you. Whereas I'm gonna sound like a woo witch. You were in a lower vibration, so you were attracting lower vibration men, and now you're like up
It's
here.
so true though. It really does work like that, where it's like attracts like, and wherever you are, that's where dating will meet you. That's where life will meet you. Honestly, everything will meet you where you're at.
Period. I love that. Mother Hawaii beat you down a little bit, but she brought you some. She
Honestly,
brought you the gifts.
yeah, that was like a life-changing trip. I think about it every day because I'm like, my life has changed so much from then. And it's been what, like almost a month? Yeah, my life's changed.
Yeah. And
She's
it
changed.
sounds to me, looping it back to your sunlight exposure early on, and even us talking about aligning ourselves to the seasons as it comes to
Oh,
like
yes.
manifesting and setting intentions, like
Yes.
we're the only creatures in this world. And I believe Mia Magic said this, that we think we can like outsmart nature. But when
Yeah.
you actually work within the cycles of the world, like,
Yeah.
you will have more peace and a lot more calmness in life. Like, you waking up and seeing the sun right when it's out really helps your circadian rhythms, and that's helping
Mhm.
everything else in your body. So, in a weird way, being close to nature, it's a beautiful thing for that reason,
Yeah.
because it's how we're supposed to be living, baby.
It's so true. It's so true. Cause yeah, I think about that too. I'm like, honestly, like nature is the medicine, and we do these things where we take all these supplements for sleeping or waking up. And it's like, dude, there's simple things we could do, like simple tweaks. They're hard to introduce for sure if you're starting off with not having that habit, but they can literally change your life. If you feel good physically, it's crazy how much affects your mental health too.
100%. We're in the happy eras.
We are in our happy era.
I mean, I love chatting with you and catching up, and I can't wait to see you in, like,
Couple
like, a
weeks.
month or so? a little more than a month,
Yeah.
but I'm so excited. Sheen and I decided that I'm gonna change my flight and we're gonna go to the Renaissance Fair. We're gonna be
I'm
nerds.
so excited. We're gonna be little fairies. But love you, little rats. You know what to do. If you're not following us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, make sure you do it. Make sure to give us 5 stars. We love you. We'll be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.